Welcome to Knowledge Valley. Ever wondered who gets to call the shots in a country? Well, in a democracy, it's the people. Imagine a group of friends deciding what game to play. That's democracy in action. Instead of one person bossing everyone around, everyone gets a say. The idea is that, by working together and considering different opinions, we'll end up with the best decision for everyone involved. Pretty cool, right? Now, where did this whole democracy thing even come from? Well, we can thank the ancient Greeks for giving us this awesome system. Way back in the day, around the 5th century BC, citizens in Athens had this radical idea of letting ordinary folks participate in government. They'd gather in a public square called the Agora, discuss important issues, and then vote by simply raising their hands. So, next time you hear the word democracy, remember it's not just a fancy word politicians throw around, it's about you, your friends, and everyone having a say in how things are run. Okay, so we've established that democracy is all about giving power to the people. But what does that actually mean? In a nutshell, it means that citizens have the right to participate in the political process and hold their leaders accountable. Think about it like this. Imagine your school is run like a dictatorship. The principal makes all the rules, decides what you can and can't wear, and even chooses what's for lunch every day without any input from students or teachers. Sounds pretty unfair, right? That's why democracy is so important. It ensures that power isn't concentrated in the hands of a select few. If enough people agree with you, you can literally vote out the old leaders and bring in new ones who will hopefully do a better job. One of the coolest things about living in a democracy is that you have certain fundamental rights that are protected by law. These rights aren't just handed out as a favor, they're considered essential for a just and equitable society. Think about some of the freedoms you enjoy every day: the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom to assemble peacefully, and the freedom of the press. These rights are like the pillars that hold up the entire structure of democracy. They allow us to express ourselves freely, challenge the status quo, and hold our leaders accountable without fear of censorship or reprisal. Imagine a world where you couldn't speak your mind, practice your religion, or gather with your friends to discuss important issues. That's what life is like in many countries that lack democratic freedoms. But in a democracy, your rights are protected. These rights are what make democracy so special and worth fighting for. So, we've talked about the power of democracy and the importance of individual rights. But how do you actually go about making your voice heard in a democratic society? Well, there are tons of ways to get involved, and it doesn't have to be complicated or intimidating. The most obvious way to participate in a democracy is by voting in elections. When you turn 18, you get to cast your ballot and choose the people who will represent you in government. But democracy is way more than just voting once every few years. You can get involved in local politics, volunteer for a cause you care about, or even start your own organization to address an issue that's important to you. Remember, democracy thrives on active citizenship. Section 5. When leaders go bad. We've been talking a lot about the awesome sides of democracy, but let's be real. No system is perfect. Sometimes, even in a democracy, things can go wrong. Leaders can become corrupt, power-hungry, or just plain out of touch with the needs of the people they're supposed to represent. Think of it like a sports team. You might have a star player who's incredibly talented, but also a bit of a diva. They might start demanding special treatment, breaking the rules, or putting their own interests above the team's goals. The same thing can happen in a democracy. We need to hold them accountable, challenge their decisions when necessary, and make sure they're working for us, not the other way around. Section 6. Life without democracy. Imagine a world where everything you do is controlled by a small group of people who don't care about your opinions or well-being. You have no say in how your country is run, what you can watch or read, or even what you're allowed to say in public. This isn't a scene from a dystopian novel, it's the harsh reality for millions of people living under authoritarian regimes around the world. In these countries, power is concentrated in the hands of a single person or a small elite group. They control the government, the military, and often even the media. Dissent is not tolerated, and any form of opposition is swiftly crushed. People live in constant fear of being arrested, imprisoned, or even worse, simply for expressing their views or questioning those in power. Think about it. You wouldn't stand for someone telling you what to wear, what music to listen to, or who you can hang out with. Yet, in countries without democracy, people face restrictions on every aspect of their lives. Section 7. Democracy in action. Democracy isn't just some abstract concept you learn about in civics class, it's alive and well in your everyday life. Think about all the choices you make on a daily basis, from what you eat for breakfast to what clothes you wear. These seemingly small decisions are all part of living in a free society where you have the agency to make your own choices. Imagine for a second that someone else dictated every aspect of your life. They chose your clothes, your friends, your hobbies, and even what you thought about certain topics. But in a democratic society, you have the power to shape your own destiny. Democracy is also about working together to solve problems and create a better future for everyone. Every choice you make, big or small, sends ripples out into the world around you. Think about it. The clothes you wear, the music you listen to, the brands you support, they all reflect your values and priorities. And in a democracy, your choices have the power to influence the world around you. When you choose to buy ethically sourced products, you're supporting businesses that prioritize fair labor practices and sustainability. When you vote in local elections, you're helping to shape the future of your community. And when you speak out against injustice or inequality, you're adding your voice to a chorus of others demanding change. The choices we make every day, both individually and collectively, have the power to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for ourselves and future generations. One of the most important things you can do as a young person living in a democracy is to find your voice and use it. Don't be afraid to speak up about the issues that matter to you, whether it's climate change, social justice, education reform, or anything else that gets you fired up. There are so many ways to make your voice heard. Write a letter to your elected officials, start a petition, organize a protest, or simply talk to your friends and family about the issues you care about. The more people who are aware of a problem and demanding change, the more likely it is that those in power will take notice and take action. Remember, your voice matters. You have a unique perspective and valuable insights to share. The future of our democracy depends on engaged and informed citizens like you, who are willing to stand up and speak out for what they believe in. We've talked about the importance of voting, speaking out, and holding our leaders accountable. But democracy is more than just a set of rights and responsibilities. It's a way of life. It's about treating others with respect, even when you disagree with them. It's about being open to different perspectives and engaging in constructive dialogue. It's about recognizing that we're all part of a community, and that we have a shared responsibility to make it a better place for everyone. Start by being kind and compassionate to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in, even when it's not popular. Educate yourself about the issues that matter to you, and get involved in your community. The future of democracy rests in the hands of young people like you. You're the ones who will inherit the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century, and it's up to you to shape the world you want to live in. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the state of the world, climate change, political polarization, social injustice. But don't give up hope. Get involved in your community, stay informed about the issues, and never stop questioning the status quo. Use your voice to advocate for change, hold your leaders accountable, and inspire others to do the same. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and make your mark on the world.